I forgot about Let's Ram It until you sent me this.
I heard it before, and I found it yesterday, and I was like, wow.
It was a banger.
A great song.
1985 Rams. Basically, after the Bears did the Super Bowl shuffle, and it was a legit hit, every football team in the National Football League tried to do their own song, and the Rams did Let's Ram It for the 85. That's when Flutie got drafted. I wonder if he's. I didn't watch all the way through, but Eric Dickerson, he was on the 85 Rams. I was way into the Rams when I was a kid. I don't remember Let's Ram It. Maybe my parents wouldn't let me listen to Let's Ram It at the tender age of 13 years old. But whether or not they decide that they're going to update Let's Ram It for the newly minted Super Bowl champ LA Rams. Did they win a Super Bowl when they were in St. Louis? They haven't won one in LA in a long time, but I thought they won one like the first year they were in St. Louis.
That's the
Jeff
movie.
Fisher was the coach, I think.
No, Jeff. It was Dick Vermeil.
Oh, it was Dick Vermeil.
And Kurt Warner was the quarterback.
Yeah, Kurt Warner.
Because they just made that movie about it.
Yeah, there you go. Unbeatable or untouchable or undateable. So Let's Ram It. That was the 1985 Rams football team song. And, of course, the Rams beat the Cincinnati Bengals last night. A come from behind, if you will. You all right with that? 23-20. All they had to do was not let those guys... We watched more of the Super Bowl than I thought we would, partly for the commercials, which, a couple of good ones. Halftime show was fantastic. And... there were multiple points where we were like, Cincinnati is going to win the Super Bowl. And this is going to be a big deal. And all they had to do was, at the end there, not let L.A. score. And they didn't do it. So the Rams...
But then they had a chance to score and couldn't get that done either.
Just didn't do it, yeah. So the Rams become Super Bowl 20-something champions. 26.
56.
Sorry, 56. Yeah. Sorry. Super Bowl 56 champions. That's right.
This is the 15th play of the drive. Second and goal. Pass. Cop. Touchdown.
Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. They got it done for the go-ahead touchdown.
Cooper Kupp's pedigree, boy, it's like the Mannings. His dad and grandfather were both NFL quarterbacks. Sean McVay is the youngest head coach to ever win a Super Bowl. He's 36 years old. And, of course, the celebrations in Los Angeles turned really chaotic really quickly. There was all this B-roll of LAPD rolling out, and they were like, well, this is a little over the top. And then half an hour later, you're like, oh, no, they know exactly what's going to happen. And that's exactly what happened. So, of course, there were things on fire and whatever. But listen, they won a Super Bowl.
So you got to set fires.
Yeah, in a city where people pretend to care about football when the team's doing really, really well. A city with 2 football teams, the Rams are the Super Bowl champs. So, listen, it would have been fun for the Bengals. I know you have a lot of friends down there, and you wanted to see them upset.
Yes, and they are.
I don't have any friends in Cincinnati.
I don't even have to say anything to them.
I was just I was trying to be an Ohio booster, but it would have been nice for the Bengals to have won the Super Bowl, but they didn't.
They sure did not.
No, but that Joe Burrow, is a very good football player. Yeah, so
not good enough, obviously.
But the city should be happy that he's leading that team.
Right.
So,
there's so much that was going on that had nothing to do with the Super Bowl that was entertaining.
You mean during the telecast?
During the telecast, if there was so many celebrities at the game, so if you were just following along on social media, there was all these little different things where, my favorite was Judd Apatow was sitting right behind Kanye.
I saw that.
And Kanye was wearing a mask, and Judd Apatow could overhear him saying, man, I don't think I should have worn the mask. And his friend's like, yeah, I told you not to wear the mask. I don't care. It's still funny.
But it was like a full head hood. You couldn't see any of his face.
And his friend's like, I told you not to wear the mask. And this is also after Kanye spent the last 24 hours posting a bunch of things about Pete Davidson on his Instagram, just going crazy. And so for that to unfold there, and then like in the second half, he took the mask off, and that was funny. And then just seeing like LeBron going crazy during the halftime show, having a good time, it was a lot of fun.
So when they do like the little, when they would show celebrities in the VIP sections all throughout the game, they'd say, there's Charlize Theron, and there's Matt Damon talking to people, and oh, look, there's whatever, right? And Tom Hanks and his son. Or
Sebastian was there.
Sebastian Maniscalco was there with his dad and his wife. And they go, LeBron James, we're watching this. And my daughter, it was her birthday yesterday, so we've been doing birthday stuff all weekend long. Super Bowl, we're going to sit and chill and watch and whatever. She goes, LeBron James, he's my favorite basketball player or whatever he plays. This is what my kid says. And my wife and I look at her and go, how do you know LeBron James? And she goes, Space Jam. And I go, oh, right, Space Jam 2, that god-awful movie that we took her to. But we were both like, how do you know who LeBron James is?
She starts saying all his stats.
Yeah, that is, she goes,
like,
Dad,
Dad,
he's just a kid from Akron.
Dad, he just passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the all-time leading scorer in combined points in regular season and the playoffs. Duh.
So,
Wake up.
apparently Alexa's listening and sent the transcript to Bill. But nevertheless, that's exactly what she said. And then she showed me the stats. But, yeah, it was fine. Listen, I saw somebody's hot take was it was a fun game for two teams, neither of which played all that great. And I was like, yeah, it was fine. It was okay.
Yeah, it came down to like the fourth quarter. Like it was the last
It's entertaining.
5 minutes was very tense. It was very entertaining. I mean, even if it wasn't like a shootout or anything like that, but it was a good enough game. It's better than a blowout. And some of the commercials were okay.
No Tom Brady. He's been in 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls. So, I mean, that was a kind of a fun thing to watch, too. But and the story that was going around, too, was that the NFL told Eminem that he couldn't take a knee, and he did. And I was like, there's no way that's true. There's 0% that happened, that they told Eminem, hey, you can't. There's no downside to what, the NFL is going to punish Eminem? There's no way that happened. And then you forget that Dr. Dre, and we talked about this a while ago after they first announced the halftime show, that Dr. Dre sunk a ton of his own money into the Super Bowl halftime show.
So they could
basically do whatever they wanted to do. He sunk $7 million of his own money into it. It was great.
Worth it.
It was great.
I've watched it like 5 times already.
It's great if you were sitting on the side of the field where you could see into the houses. Imagine if you're sitting at, you paid $25,000 for a Super Bowl ticket, and you're looking at the
and you're
side,
behind the set,
and everybody's going crazy because 50 Cent is hanging from the ceiling, and you guys are like, "What's going on?"
He's a vampire bat.
God,
I guess I didn't even read when Eminem got on his knee. I didn't even think that's what he was doing. I just thought he ended his thing, and then it became a thing. I was like, that's not even controversial anymore, the kneeling. Like,
right, and it's not like he did it during the national anthem. He did it at the end of his set.
Yeah, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. But, 50 Cent and then Mary J.
It was so
Somebody
good.
called her Mary J. Thighs. I thought that was funny.
That's good.
But Gen Z and Gen X were going back and forth, apparently, on social media about who the halftime show was for.
Gen Z thought it was for them?
Well, people were like shouting out like millennials or whatever, and Gen X apparently got all upset. They were like, everybody up there is 50. Like, this is, Snoop and, Kendrick Lamar's his mid-30s, but everybody else up there is 50.
My favorite
or
take.
so.
My favorite take was a tweet that I saw that was like, all of us Gen Z or Gen X and millennials are watching it like, finally they didn't book like Tom Petty or an old people band. They booked something for us young kids. It's like, oh, we're in our 40s.
Oh yeah, that was what I was thinking too, because Gwen was like, she was into it, man. She was going bananas during that thing. And it was great. It was fun.
Now we have to hear from the halftime show aficionado, the person that this means more to than anybody. Poundcake, your thoughts? Oh, good. He can't say anything.
Still can't hear him. I was confused about why he was so
do we have like a loose wire in there, or Jason spent like 2 hours working in there on this?
He's probably not touching any other buttons or anything, right? Unless the halftime show literally took his breath away.
Did you? I can't even hear him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's static electricity. Maybe he scuffed his feet or something. And then when he touches the board, it shorts it out temporarily. That can happen too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to reset that board in there is so goddamn old. That's the problem.
You want to
too.
put him in Mary's seat just for a minute?
Yeah. Oh,
Come in
well,
here, Cody, so we can at least hear you and talk to you.
I didn't
Bring
even
your
think about
headphones.
The fact that he couldn't answer the phone from there. I was like, yeah, bring him in.
Everybody wants to get his.
Ridiculous.
It's
About to get ridiculous.
What did you watch the Superb Owl?
So about that, I didn't even get a chance to watch the Super Bowl halftime show because I was dealing with my own little crisis this weekend.
Here we go.
no.
All right, buckle in.
Yeah, so it was a trap because a friend of mine whose mom is on the Blacklist, I think she's a half number, I don't know what number she is, but she invited me over for margaritas and tacos. So
This is a grown woman.
my,
or this
my friend's mom is on our Blacklist.
Your friend's mom. So she goes, "Hey, come over." Just you, or there were other people there? They were having a Superb Owl party.
The mom had a friend over, and then my friend was over. Well, she lives there, and so we were just gonna have some tacos. It was just gonna be a really nice night.
So that wasn't a euphemism then.
No, so this was Saturday night. So this was not Super Bowl night. I just had some tacos and margaritas, and we were just chilling, hanging out. No big deal. And then after I started to sober up, I had like 4 tacos, and I had like. I think I had milk or something like that.
Tacos and milk.
When you sober up, you had milk.
And like I had some,
Jesus.
I think I had some ice cream. Like I had like a bunch of other stuff on top of the margaritas and tacos. So I was like, it's like midnight, like 1 a.m. I'm going to go home. I'm sober. I'm fine. So she has a really long driveway. She lives like out on the east side. And so I paid it no mind. And I'm like, I'm getting ready to go home. It wasn't snowing really that bad. It was just, just a little bit of flurries.
Flurries, yeah.
She has a really long driveway. You know those east side homes, like they're really long and they're out in the country. So I'm backing out her driveway and I'm slowly like trying to go down, trying to stay straight because there's like a snow mound on both sides. And I'm going all the way back, backing my car out, and I think I turned too quickly. And she has one of those driveways where there's a ditch on both sides. And so I just so happened to get my car in the exact spot where my left side was on the driveway and my right side was just dangling over the ditch. So I'm trying to. I got back I moved back really fast, and I'm like, oh, okay, why did I just stop? I didn't hit a mound or anything. My wheels just weren't on anything, and there was snow underneath me, so there's snow going everywhere.
Just spinning.
And I'm like,
Well,
okay.
she has like so her driveway at the end is like a little mini bridge there where there's a ditch on either side. Yeah.
Correct.
Like
Where
a
all the-
culvert underneath.
where
or
like the
something.
sewage goes or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and that was
the
filled-
drainage ditch, yeah.
drainage, whatever. But there was a bunch of snow there. So I just see snow going everywhere. I'm like, oh, I got to push myself out. Homie, I get out of the car and I just fall into the ditch. That's how high up my car was. And I'm like, oh. So I call my friend. I'm like, hey, like I'm stuck. Can you help push me out? So I was thinking.
This is at night, right?
This is like at 1 a.m.
Oh,
and so
geez.
we're trying to do like the rock method. So I'm like, all right, so I'm going to put it in gear.
Gave it the people's elbow.
And she's like,
We began to rock.
she gets the shovel.
Steady.
And then like we're digging around my car, around my wheels. And so I'm like, all right, so we just need some traction and we can go. Car was not moving.
Right.
No matter how bad you push.
Then you probably don't have salt in your trunk for just such an occasion.
It wouldn't help. My car was like elevated to where it was over the bridge and there was nothing that could move it because
So wait, was
gotcha.
the front wheels were elevated?
my right side of my whole right side of my car, like it's
Okay.
like halfway dangling.
Got it.
So if there was like a fat person on the right side, then I would lean and my car would like be on its side.
Okay.
So I almost backed into the ditch, but I didn't see it because the snow was there. That's how high up the snow was. So I'm like, all right. She was like, well, I guess you're staying here tonight. We'll deal with it in the morning. She's like, maybe, my mom can help dig you out or we'll figure it out. Just sleep tight tonight, and we'll be fine. I'm like, all right, so we'll be fine in the morning. And I sleep over.
You and Mary had some amazing weekends.
Dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awful. I wake up in the morning, and she's like, oh, you want me to make you breakfast, blah, blah, blah. Her mom is still sleeping. She has a child there, so the child's up and at him. And we eat. Her mom is like, so what happened last night? I was like, I swear, I don't even have the excuse to use that I'm drunk. I was not drunk. I did this completely sober, which is more embarrassing. And she's like, oh, it's no big deal. Well,
Milk will sober you up.
Right. Belly full of milk and tacos.
and so, like, we were going to go out and just try and push it. There was no pushing it. We tried, like, elevating it with cardboard. It wouldn't work.
Wait, I'm confused. You're in the ditch?
He's like half in the
My-
ditch.
my-
so
half of
his
my car.
Like his driver's side.
If he's in a ditch, how would pushing it help?
He's hoping.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
We had to try something.
He was trying to get the side that was on
Trying to scoot it.
on the driveway still to to work, but it wasn't. You weren't getting any traction because of the way the car was.
And I have front wheel drive, so I only have one of my tires in the gravel. I'm like, I'm gonna ruin my tread trying to do this. So my friend's mom is like, I was gonna call the tow truck, and she volunteered. She was like, no, don't call. She's like, I have AAA. Like, it's at my house. Just stay put. I'll call the tow truck. So she's nice enough to call the tow truck for me, because all I needed to move like.
You just need to get onto the driveway again.
I just needed to move maybe like 4 feet to the left. And she's like, all right, fine. And they're like, all right, well, we'll call you when the tow truck is on its way. I'm like, okay, no big deal. So I'm waiting, and an hour goes by. And then another hour goes by.
Oh, God.
And then an hour goes. So it's like 4 right now. Now, mind you, I had Super Bowl plans. I was going to hang out with Erica because I hadn't seen Erica in forever. And I was like, oh my gosh, it'd be great to catch up. And she's like, hey,
this is 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I stayed
Yesterday.
the night over there.
Taking that long to get.
Wait,
Wow.
it gets better. So I canceled my plans with Erica. I'm like, listen, I had a little situation last night, and my car needs to be towed. We can't move it. And so she's like, oh, no worries. So I'm still sitting there waiting, and then 4:30 hits, and her mom gets a call, and she's like, oh, all right. Okay, no problem. And I'm like, ooh, the tow truck is on its way, right? And she's like, so someone called off, and they're doing a number of counties right now, so they're not going to be able to get to you, towards you.
Who's they? The tow truck?
The tow truck service. They're not going to be able to come this way till after 6 p.m. And I said, what? I had been over there all night and all day. Not that I don't like their company. They was great, but I just felt trapped. I had my same old clothes. Like, we were just sitting there watching movies, and I just...
There's a kid running around.
There was a kid running around, and she was fine, but I could just tell that I'm like, no one could get in and out of the driveway without seeing my stupid car there halfway hanging on. So she was like, well, would you like to go out and try and push it? She was like, you only need to go over just like a couple feet. I'm like, we're better off trying. So we go get the cardboard again. I get the shovel, and we go out there, and I'm like, all right, you just get in the back, and I'm going to try and rock it. She's like, okay. And then I give it one good, like, floor, like, and she's like, oh, yeah, this ain't going to work. She comes back. Mind you, this is my friend's mom. She comes back. I said, oh, my God, your face. she had black face.
Soot.
Oh, she's covered in dirt and snow.
I was like,
She was immediately canceled on Twitter.
well, she's half black. So I was like, oh, my gosh, now you're fully black. You should be on the blacklist, like all black. And I was like, damn it, I'm really going to have to wait for this tow truck. This is hella embarrassing. And by this time, it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's
Boy,
dark.
imagine one guy taking off on Super Bowl Sunday kicks your whole tow truck business in the ass. Oh, Jim isn't coming in.
Literally, it
You can
was
only
that.
drive one truck at a time.
Well, if each guy has a different county.
And there's
multiple counties and multiple cars.
a lot of people getting stuck in the snow because it was still icy. I mean,
It
there
was
was
awful.
there was a little bit of snow on Sunday morning as well. So
yeah.
people get stuck.
And it was in the country, and it's really hilly, and there's a lot of ditches, especially around a lot of people's driveways.
Cheesy teeth ditches.
And so I was just super embarrassed. I'm like, this would happen to me. It would happen to me. And so we're going inside waiting, and we turn on the Super Bowl. And then we get a call like, hey, your driver should be here at 6:40. And I'm like, oh, that's not that bad. I look down at my phone. It's already 6:40. So I'm like, it should be coming any minute. Didn't come till like 7:30. And it was dark, and it was already like snowing. So I'm like, I'm going to have to deal with this on the way home. The tow truck guy comes in, and he's just like, I'm like, you better not mess with me. He's like, hold on, let me make sure I got the right tools. I said, what do you mean?
Came all
You
this
got the right
way.
tools.
Ugh.
But he did. But I lost a hubcap in the process. It's in my back seat, so I gotta put it back on there. I gotta put it. He said, do these hubcaps come off? I was like, I don't know. I've never taken them off. And he said, pop. He's like, okay, they come off. And I'm like, I hope they go back on.
So when did you get home?
Oh God, I got home around like 8:30, and I was taking it slow because I was like, I don't want any anything to ruin my vibe. I already
You
had
get
a
in
weekend.
another ditch. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it was like you, Mary. Like you're just frustrated and you just want this whole thing to be
Yep.
over. My Super Bowl day was ruined, not because anyone's fault. It was me. It was me, and that's what made me the most mad because I had no one to blame but myself. Wow. And so
You didn't have an scapegoat.
Exactly. I couldn't escape, and I am the GOAT.
Gee, all I did was
Push it.
attend a stranger's funeral, Bill.
Yeah, I know,
I didn't
right?
really have that
You had-
exciting of a weekend.
Who would think that that was the most normal weekend?
I know, right?
Stranger's funeral.
So you got home last night, and
One less hubcap.
yeah. Did you watch any of the Super Bowl?
No, because I don't have regular cable at my house. So I watched the beginning at my friend's house, and then when the tow truck came, that took precedent.
Did you?
But
You didn't watch the halftime show on YouTube or anything?
watched it on YouTube afterwards, and I
So good, right?
Oh boy.
listen. They,
It's a tease.
my opinion, they should have done more than one song each. You know, Eminem has hits on top of hits. I knew he
Yeah,
was
but
going
they
to
had
do.
They don't-
5 different performers.
they don't have that much time.
that time.
But
Yeah.
Eminem, I think it should go by your celebrity. Like the one who has the most hits should get the most time. Mary J, I knew she was going to do Family Affair. I knew she was going to open
No
up with
more
that.
drama.
But like no more drama. No one wants to hear that. That kills people's vibe.
It's always a medley though, and you know they had to give her more than one like verse.
But what you saw was good.
Yeah,
Yeah. And yeah.
He still
it
seems
was.
unsure.
Well, because
all right.
he likes more of a spectacle, and I kind of get
There was no pyro, there was nothing.
Where he's coming from is
When
you
you're
just
that
see
when you're that lineup, you don't need pyro.
when you see rappers up there just kind of doing their thing. It's not the same as Beyonce doing this all out, like you're doing the song
Choreography,
and
like-
all this choreography, and you have all these backup dancers, and it's different.
They had hype men. Everyone,
Yeah.
everybody looks cool when they have hype men. Like when people go up near you,
It was
and put their
better than
hands
the
up.
weekend getting lost in a hall of mirrors. That's all I know.
He had
Definitely.
choreography and he had a great voice.
Yeah. All right, listen. We watched the Puppy Bowl, so we didn't care what Snoop was on there with Martha Stewart. Okay, let me take a break here, and when we are back, I will have pass forward to see Henry Rollins. I want to go see Hank on the new Spoken Word tour. He's going to come through Playhouse Square on March the 15th, the Good to See You tour. So I'll have a couple of tickets for that, and then 3:30, next chance for you to go fund yourself. Listen for that upcoming keyword to get you $1,000.